He saw a boy kneeling by a muddy puddle, cupping his hands to sip the filthy water. In that moment, something in Ibrahim Traoré changed, not as a leader, but as a human being. What followed wasn't a speech or a photo op. It was action. Today, I tell you the story of how a moment of bare necessity compelled a president to step down from his pedestal and wade into the mud, and why millions watched hoping, questioning, dreaming. Ibrahim Traoré came to power in Burkina Faso after a military takeover in 2022. He replaced Captain Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, promising stability, clean governance, and development. But he inherits a country beset by insurrection, jihadist violence, food insecurity, and crumbling infrastructure. Rural communities often lack basic services. Many villages have no reliable wells, pipelines, or water treatment. Access to clean water in Burkina Faso is a persistent crisis. In drought seasons, people draw from drying ponds, shallow wells contaminated by runoff, and rivers tainted with animal waste and pathogens. Diarrhea, cholera, waterborne diseases kill children at rates that shock those who live elsewhere. For many, fetching water is a daily gamble between thirst and sickness. Traoré's government has tried ambitious water projects, announcing multi-million-dollar investments to bring piped water to rural areas. But infrastructure projects take time, money, and security. In a country where militant attacks block roads and destroy facilities, turning promise into practice has proved painful. Into this fragile setting comes our main story. A child drinking dirty water shouldn't be sensational, but in that act lies the rawest symbol of the gap between political promise and desperate need. It was a dry morning in a remote village in central Burkina Faso. The sun baked cracked earth. Dust clung to clothing and lips. Ibrahim Traoré was visiting a government entourage moved slowly through dirt tracks, greeted by local leaders. Traoré stepped off the convoy, camera crews trailing behind. He shuffled through a small settlement when he noticed a boy, maybe 8 or 9 years old, near a stagnant puddle. No pipe tank, no clean well in sight. He knelt, wet his hands, and drank. Traoré stopped. The crowd hushed. He walked over. Without preamble, he crouched beside him. The boy looked up, startled. Maybe fear, maybe shame. "Why are you drinking that?" Traoré asked softly. The boy's voice cracked. "I have no water." When leaders often stand above, here Traoré descended. He reached for his own water bottle, poured clean water into his hands, and handed it to the child. The boy drank, gulping, trembling. The audience, villagers, aides, cameras held its breath. Traoré wiped the boy's chin. He asked where the nearest source was. He asked who tends it. Local elders spoke haltingly. "The well is broken. The pipes were never built." The water project proposals stalled. Traoré turned to his team. He spoke quietly but firmly. He commanded engineers to inspect, repair, or build right then. "Start today," he said. "We will bring clean water to this village." Cameramen captured it all: the clean water bottle, the muddy puddle, the faces. Relief, shame, hope. The moment went viral locally. It was produced in national media. In the days that followed, work began. A borehole drilled, a small solar-powered pump installed, water troughs built for children and livestock. Traoré revisited, watched water flow. He held a glass, let village elders drink first. One elder spoke. "You have restored our dignity." The boy who drank from the puddle stood quietly, eyes wide, maybe still unsure. Traoré smiled, nodded. He told villagers, no child in Burkina Faso should endure thirst. Dialogue was simple, unpolished, but emotional, cut through rhetoric. One villager whispered later, "Before, we counted each drop. Now we see it flowing." Media spread the photos. Social media divided. Critics said it was optics, a showpiece to win hearts. Supporters said it was leadership in flesh and blood. Yet for that village and many that followed, it was real. Traoré's government announced a nationwide Water for All initiative, accelerating clean water projects, prioritizing areas previously neglected. Engineers, foreign donors, and NGOs scrambled to deliver. Over weeks, Dozens of villages received similar interventions. Reports claimed thousands of people gained access to safe water. But for every success, obstacles remain. Funding shortfalls, security threats from militant groups, maintenance logistics, climate variability. And yet, for that boy and for that village, what began with a dirty puddle and a president's question etched a new chapter. Why does this story matter? Because it shows how one human moment can pierce bureaucracy and political distance. It's not enough to promise clean water. People must feel accountable leaders. In Africa, where infrastructure often lags and promises ring hollow, such symbolic, grounded acts carry weight. For Burkina Faso, it signals a shift from distant policy to face-to-face empathy. Traoré risks criticisms for playing to the camera, but he also risks doing nothing. In fragile states, gestures matter. They become barometers of sincerity. Globally, it reminds us of two things: water is life and political legitimacy is earned, not inherited. For the poorest, seeing a leader kneel to share water can transform despair into belief. But long-term, success depends on sustainable systems, security, maintenance, and political will. For billions around the world lacking clean water, this story says, leadership must meet the ground. It's not charity, it's a duty. He didn't just hand a bottle to the boy. He knelt, he listened, and he acted. Maybe it was just one moment, but that moment cracked the distance between ruler and ruled. It showed us that leadership is not about speeches or fanfare. It's about seeing someone's thirst and taking steps to end it. In years to come, that boy might forget the dirty puddle, but he may remember the man who walked down from power, held out a cup of clean water, and said, "You matter." That memory can become fuel for a nation, for change, for accountability. Let this remind us, real transformation begins with small acts, rooted in empathy. And sometimes it all starts with one child, one cup, one leader willing to bend.